I recently happened upon a story in the news I find highly disturbing. The story was about a Canadian teen named Amanda Todd, a beautiful young woman that made a couple of pretty bad decisions and was ruthlessly persecuted for them. The relentless emotional and even physical assaults led her to commit suicide. Not all of my opinions on this issue will be popular. They might offend some people, but I promise I'm not trying to hurt anyone. First off, to the folks that mistreated Amanda, what goes around comes around. If not in this life, then in the next. In fact, I have a funny feeling you're already catching some of that. How does it feel to be despised? I'll bet after what happened that there are even some immature jerks out there giving you death threats. Sucks, doesn't it? Being treated like that burns you to your core, and you're most likely getting a taste of what Amanda dealt with every day. I don't hate you, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone, but I have to say, what did you expect? As for the man that blackmailed, that stalked her, I do hope he has some nice long think time behind bars. Lots of it. He's a predator, and that's where predators belong. Bullying is a problem, clearly, but lately, people act like it is something new and shocking when it isn't. It has existed as long as people have, and I think a big part of why it's so startling is the cultural delusion many of us buy into, that mankind is by nature all sweetness and light, that mankind is inherently good. I've seen too much evil in my life to buy into that. Humanity is by its very nature screwed up, as is evidenced by what happened to Amanda Todd. The cool thing about being human is that we have the capacity to rise above our natures, though. That is why it is our responsibility to stand up when we see others being mistreated. However, I also don't buy into the idea of many in the anti-bullying movement that this is a problem that warrants legislation. In fact, I think resorting to First Amendment suppressing legislation to stop bullying will provide people with an avenue to abdicate their personal responsibility to get involved, because they think Papa Government is taking care of it. Because that is what we should do. Act directly. How many of us have looked away when we see someone getting picked on day after day? Because we don't want to get the same crap aimed at us. How many of us have joined in at one time or another because we too were desperate to belong? Parents too, for God's sake, start paying attention. Yes, you love your children. Awesome! Please, please keep it up. But remember this, no matter how much you love them, your love does not grant your children automatic innocence. Are your children always going on and on about what they want? Do you often catch them laughing at someone else's expense? What do they say about the fat, pimply, or weird kids at school? Learn to identify when your children show signs of being bullies themselves. They make their own decisions, true, but it is up to you to show them how unacceptable bullying is. They may not like you for it, but that's part of a parent's job. You wouldn't want anyone treating your kids that way. It isn't the politically correct answer, but if you see someone being treated as Amanda was, get in the bully's face and tell them to stop. If they seem disinclined to listen, offer to make things hell for them if they continue, and be prepared to follow up on that. I'm not advocating a mass melee, but if you see someone being hit, slapped, or kicked, there is nothing wrong with doing the same to their attacker until they quit. There are also plenty of other ways to bug someone into stopping unacceptable behavior. That's what authority figures are for. Cops, teachers, you name it. Don't be cowards. Stand up for the little people. And that goes double for you big, strong types. You weren't made that way to lord it over others, but because it makes you ideal for the role of protector. When a big dude walks up and tells someone to knock it off, people tend to listen. No fight required. It's called show of force. In other words, don't provoke the massive muscles into pounding you. Most people have some sense of self-preservation, after all. A final word about cyberbullying in particular. It may sound crazy in today's tech-addicted world, but if someone is continually harassing you over the internet, it wouldn't hurt you to turn off the computer. Log off. Close Facebook. Delete your account, whatever. Walk away and remember, they're just pixels. God bless all of you that give a damn. Remember that we are the champions of the downtrodden.